Hello everybody, my name is Tasha, and if you've never been here before, I am currently a gestational surrogate. And if you have questions on what that means in the process, you can go watch some of my videos from before. Basically, short story, I'm pregnant with a baby that's not mine and I don't intend to keep at the end. So if you're curious, you can go watch some of my previous videos. Anyway, this is the 32-week update. I'm very proud of myself. I can actually remember what week I'm on now, for the most part. Some days are better than others. So baby right now is the size of a pineapple. All things considered, with the size that I am right now, I could see it. She is 17.36 inches long and 4.77 pounds. Let's open up the picture. There she is. Pregnancy symptoms for 33 weeks. Trouble sleeping, wrist pain, frequent urination, shortness of breath, pregnancy brain. That's not too bad of a list this week. Trouble sleeping, I haven't had really any trouble sleeping at all. For the most part, it's just like trying to find a comfortable position. But once I'm asleep, like I don't have any trouble staying asleep. Except when I wake up between like 2 and 4 o'clock in the morning and have to pee really bad. That's the only time that I wake up in the middle of the night. I have not had any wrist pain, but apparently carpal tunnel is a thing that happens right now. Frequent urination, covered that. Shortness of breath. Yeah, you could say that. I mean, all my insides are basically being like pushed up, so my lungs do not have a ton of space at the moment. And going upstairs sucks. I'm not a fan. Pregnancy brain is, yeah, it's there. There's been a couple of things at work that I've like not caught that I should have caught, but it doesn't happen very often. It's like once during the entire pregnancy I haven't caught something. So it's not every single time, but it happens. I mean, people are human, so I feel like that's more what it is, not necessarily pregnancy brain. Okay, so baby, I guess symptoms? I'm not really sure. Skull flexibility. So in case you didn't know, the bones in your skull when you're a baby are not actually fused together. So instead of your skull being one piece, it's like multiple different segments, and then after you're born, they fuse together. So baby's skull is not fused together. That way their brain can grow and their head doesn't stay super teeny tiny. Because that would be weird. Like if you see an adult that has a teeny tiny head, like that's why, like it needs to grow. So the bones can't be fused together until, you know, you're much older. So it says baby movement. It's getting snug. So baby isn't doing as many somersaults, but the amount of movement should be the same. Definitely is the same. She still moves quite a bit. After baby moves into a head down position to prepare for birth, you may feel kicks in new places like underneath your ribs or on one side or another. She was up in my ribs this morning when I woke up, so super fun. But yeah, she kicks all over the place. I mean, I even feel some pretty significant punches down low where her hands would be in her head and stuff. So it is what it is. They don't really hurt for the most part, but occasionally they do because she is freaking strong, let me tell you. So this week I had my 32-week doctor's appointment, and I found out that my doctor is going to be on vacation until the day after my due date, which I thought she was going to be back before then. No. She will be gone for like the last 2.5, 3 weeks of my pregnancy, which is a huge bummer because I thought there was a chance that she would be back before I was due. Yeah, no. And with my history of delivering before the due date, I fully intend to like go into labor naturally before the due date this time also. So that's a big disappointment. I did, however, schedule the rest of my doctor's appointments for this pregnancy. So I've got like 5 more, and the last, I think 3 will be with the other doctor at the clinic. There's only 2 doctors. So at least like I'll see her. I saw her in the very beginning, and now I'll see her at the very end. So she's kind of bookends in my pregnancy, I guess. She's very nice. I just wanted my doctor. It is what it is. I mean, she's going out of the country. It's not like she's staying home and just not working. Like, she's literally gonna be gone. So while I was at my appointment, the doctor checked to make sure the baby was head down like she always does. And she was during the appointment. I don't know what she's doing now, but I'm hoping she's still head down. She's not dropped at all, which is normal for pregnancy, in case you were wondering. So babies towards the end will kind of settle, like their head will settle into your uterus, obvi, will settle into like your pelvis. Good grief. Today is just not the day for me talking, apparently. Towards the end of pregnancy, the baby will settle into your pelvis, right? Right now, they're still kind of up, floating around a little bit. She was head down, so hopefully she'll stay that way the rest of the time. But I can't with myself today. So the doctor checked to make sure she was head down, and she was. And as I was laying there and she was like feeling around to see where she was at, I told her, I was like, the parents still haven't felt the baby moving, because every time I see them, either at a doctor's appointment or if we go out to lunch or dinner or some whatever, she naps the entire time and like doesn't move the whole time I'm with them. And so she goes, oh, well, come here. And so the parents come up as I'm like laying on the table with my stomach hanging out for God and everybody. Not that it's a problem, but I just thought it was funny. So she's like, here, put your hands here. And she like made the C shape, and then you like put it down, you know, and the baby's head should go inside your hand, right? So the intended father came and like put his hand on, and apparently the baby moved, and so it like moved inside of his hand, and he's like, nope, I'm out. And like stepped back. And we all started laughing. Like, it was so funny. It freaked him out for some reason. But then the intended mom comes over, and she's like, puts her hand down and like doesn't really push very hard. So I don't know if she actually felt anything. But then she put her hand like up near where the baby's butt was. And of course the baby's like moving because people are poking at her. And so she like felt movements and stuff and was very excited. So I'm glad that they finally got to feel her moving, because every time I see them, I'm like, okay, like, your parents want like to feel you. I was guessing. I mean, I didn't want to assume that they wanted to feel her, but at the same time I was going to offer. And so it was just really funny. They got to feel her move, which was very exciting for them, and I was very happy for them. And yeah, it was funny because when the doctor first felt for her head, she's like, oh, she moved. And I was like, wait, what? Like, I didn't feel anything. She's like, yeah, as I put my hand down to like feel for her head, she like pushed into my hand. I was like, oh, that's so funny, because I don't know, somebody was invading her space and she was like, hey, this is my area. While we were at the doctor, the intended father wanted to talk about some things about the delivery, because when we had met for lunch on Sunday last week, I had brought my book, which I think I showed you guys. I brought my pregnancy planner, and I had filled out like what I want during labor, since I'm the one going through it. Like, I get to pick all the things. And then for like when the baby's born, I let them pick the things, right? There's stuff in there like the baby's to be handed directly to, and then there's a blank spot where you can put, you know, name, who wants to cut the cord, who, you know, various things. And so I had asked who wanted to cut the cord, and the intended father was very hesitant about it. And he's like, didn't want to hurt the baby, didn't want to do it wrong, which, like, I get it, but you can't do it wrong, really, because they literally clamp. I think I told you in the last video, they clamp in 2 spots, one at the baby and one at the end of the umbilical cord. And so they tell you, like, cut in between here. You can't mess it up. But he was like, well, I'm going to talk to the doctor about it. So while we were at the doctor's office, he was talking to her about it. And he's like, I'm getting all this peer pressure. And I'm like, not peer pressure. I just don't want you to regret not doing it because you're afraid you're going to do it wrong. And he finally was like, well, you know, maybe, I guess, I'll, whatever. I don't really care as long as it gets done. Because clearly it needs to be done. I mean, if the parents don't want to do it, either the doctor or the nurses are going to do it. Someone will do it. So I wanted to give them the option, you know. But they also talked to the doctor about, like, cord blood saving, like cord blood banking. That's the word. And what else did they talk to them about? Just a bunch of things, really. When we were done with the appointment, like, the doctor walked out and was like, oh, I forgot to ask her something. Because this is IVF, do I need to start doing non-stress tests coming up? And she's like, what? Why would you have to do non-stress tests because it was IVF? I was like, I don't know. Like, I told her that I had asked in, you know, a couple of my Facebook groups, or had seen it mentioned in a couple of my Facebook groups where they were like, I have to start doing non-stress tests at 36 weeks because I did IVF. And I asked in the group, I was like, is that normal? Because I've never done one before. A lot of the ladies responded with like, well, it depends on your doctor. It's like, okay, we'll have to ask the doctor then. So I asked her, I was like, am I gonna have to start doing non-stress tests? And she goes, no, it's dependent on the maternal age. When you are 35 and older, then you have to start doing them at 36 weeks. And I looked at her and I was like, Dr. Wong, I'm 35 today. It's my birthday. And she goes, oh, well then yes, at 36 weeks you have to start doing them. I was like, okay. So starting in July, I have to do non-stress tests, which I've asked around. Basically, they have 2 monitors that are round. If you've had a baby, you know what I'm talking about. They're the same monitors that they use when you're in labor. One goes on the top of your, like, uterus stomach area to measure for contractions, and the second one is to measure baby's heart rate. So starting in July, I will have to start doing non-stress tests. I'm not 100% sure how long I have to do it for, like each time I do it, because I have to do it every single week in July when I go in for my doctor's appointments. I'm not 100% sure like how long I have to sit there for each time I do them. I've been told like it can be an hour, or it depends on how cooperative the baby is. My best friend was like, drink something sugary before you go in. I was like, what? She goes, yeah, so the baby's awake and not sleeping, because apparently she had done some with her son where he just slept for the majority of the time, and so she had to sit there for longer. It's like, oh, okay, well, good to know. That's gonna be fun. I've also watched, who was it? There was a YouTuber that I was watching that had to do non-stress tests, and the baby was not cooperating, or was something happened. And so instead of like going home afterwards, her doctor's like, yeah, you're going to the hospital and we're inducing you. So next week's video, I'm gonna go over what to What to hospital? Oh my word. Again, seriously, I can't today. What to pack in your hospital bag as a surrogate is a struggle. I'm on struggle street today, for sure. So, next week's video, I will be packing my hospital bag and showing you what I put in it as a surrogate. Clearly, I'm not gonna need any baby things, so I'm not worried about that. I will be packing like pumping stuff for breast pumping because I will be obviously pumping afterwards. Yeah, I've got a whole list. It's in my pregnancy planner. If you're interested, I will link my pregnancy planner below. So check that out. But yeah, next episode, week, vlog, whatever, I will be packing my hospital bag. I'm not gonna do it today because I already have too much footage and I don't even have a doctor's appointment this coming week. So I don't wanna pack it too early, just simply because it will sit there and collect dust for weeks. But I wanna have it on the days that I have my doctor's appointments in July in case they're like, you need to go to the hospital right now. That way I won't have to drive all the way home to drive all the way back to the hospital. So stay tuned, subscribe for that content. Speaking of hospital, like I keep forgetting to talk to them about a doula. I feel really bad because I haven't talked to the doula that I had talked to before since I talked to her the last time, which was in April, I think. So I don't even know if she's still available. She hasn't reached out again, so I don't know, maybe she found somebody else. I had a doula reach out to me and she's like, hey, I gotta finish up my certification and I need one more person to support or whatever. And so I basically had access to a free doula. So I really need to talk to them sometime soon about that and then reach out to her. Also, speaking of the hospital, I finally got the explanation of coverage from my insurance. Thank goodness, because my doctor's like, you need to get registered somewhere. It's like, I know, I just don't know where yet because of my insurance. Hopefully this week I'll get an answer on whether or not I'm dropping this second insurance or if I'm keeping it and delivering at the Providence Hospital, or I have no idea. That's in the works. I have been very lucky on the fact that I haven't had a lot of negative, nasty comments, like being a surrogate or just pregnant in general. I get all the time people asking me like, oh, when do you do? When do you do? And I tell them in 2 months and they give me the shocked face emoji. Like, yes, I have 2 more months, okay? It's like 7 weeks now, but freaking close enough. And then I always get the comments of like, you're getting so big. And in my head, I'm like, so are you. Like, how dare you comment on my body? Like, this is not a thing you just do to Tom, Dick, and Harry as they walk down the street. Why is it okay to comment on a pregnant woman's body? Anyway. Yesterday, I had somebody do that to me and it really bugged me because just like the tone of their voice, it wasn't like an upbeat thing like, oh my goodness, you're getting so big. It was like, wow, you're getting so big. And just, it really bugged me. And the person who it was like hasn't talked to me the entire time I've been pregnant. So it's like, who are you to judge me? I'll brush it off eventually, but it's funny because somebody else talked to me yesterday and I mentioned it to them. And when I told them who said it, they rolled their eyes and was basically like, oh, like it's pretty on brand for that person to be saying something like that. Which is even worse, you know, because they know to expect a nasty comment out of this person. I don't know. It bugs me and it shouldn't. because like it's taken me 7 months to get this big and it's gonna be gone in like just as much time. I'm not really that worried about it, and you shouldn't be either. My doctor doesn't care. I mean, I've gained 30 pounds already, but like, what are you gonna do about it? There's nothing you can do except for eat less, but you can't eat less and still be healthy when you're pregnant. You know, like you can't diet while you're pregnant. It's not healthy. It's not safe. So I don't care. She can think what she wants. I don't care. But I did want to say something nasty back to her and I didn't. So good for me. So the last thing on my topics list, the baby and I have been playing this fun game of Braxton Hicks contraction or baby. The other day, I had several instances within an hour where my stomach got super tight and crampy, and I wasn't sure if it was the baby or if I was having Braxton Hicks or if I was having contractions. I mean, it hasn't happened since, but like that one night, it kept happening over and over and over again. And at one point, she did the thing where she like goes all to one side, the right side, of course, because that's her favorite. She like scrunched up all on the right side and it hurt really bad. And so I wasn't sure if the crampy feeling was from her because it felt like that last time she had done it, but like my stomach was all hard. And of course I'm remembering what my doctor had said. She's like, if it lasts 30 to 60 seconds or 45 to 60 seconds, it's a contraction. If it lasts longer than that, then it's Braxton Hicks. It can hurt, it can not hurt. It doesn't really matter. It's the duration that you want to watch out for. When I was in labor with my first surrogate baby, my water had broken. And the nurses hooked me up to the monitor and they were like, yeah, you're having a contraction right now. And I'm like, that's funny because I don't even feel anything. Contractions don't always hurt. And Braxton Hicks are not always painful, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's been a struggle to figure out if it's her or if it's contraction or if it's Braxton Hicks. I don't know. But it's been a fun game and I don't want to play anymore. So, if we could just not, that would be great. Not. We don't want this. I posted in one of my, well, several of my due date Facebook groups, because I'm in several that are like women that are pregnant and due around, you know, this 3-month period. And I was like, I'm having a really hard time with this. This is my 4th pregnancy. You would think that I would know the difference. But this child is so strong, it literally hurts when she pushes on me sometimes. And I had women that were saying stuff like, oh yeah, my kid does that. They're like, oh, well, you know, when you can't talk through them, then you should go to the hospital. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm 33 weeks pregnant. That is too early. It's not that I'm concerned about when I should go to the hospital for labor. It's too soon. And I assume they're gonna wanna stop the contractions based on the fact that I'm not close enough to my due date. It's the whole thing. But yeah, the group was very unhelpful. Sadly, I mean, they were all under the assumption that like I didn't know when I was in actual labor. And I'm like, no, it's the fact that it's too soon and I know they're probably gonna wanna stop my labor. So I need to know when to go in and not just wait until it's too late and they can't stop my labor. It's the whole thing. So anyway, that's what I got. It has been a struggle and I am finding it very difficult to do things these days. I have so much stuff I wanna get done, but like today, I am so tired. And I am so sore from putting together that IKEA piece of furniture. This. The Alex tall set of drawers. It looks great. Don't get me wrong, but my sciatic nerve is so unhappy, and I'm pretty sure I have like knots in my glute muscle where I normally get the knots that make my sciatic nerve hurt. It's a whole thing again. Of course, this week is the last week of school for my son, and he has a bunch of missing assignments. So I'm trying to get him to finish those before the end of school. And I need to finish editing this video, not this one, last week's video. I need to finish editing so it can go up tomorrow, which for you guys, it would have been last Monday. So I'm just not getting a whole heck of a lot done today. Yeah, I did get this video last night as I was laying in bed. I'll have to insert it here, where the baby was just bouncing around, and I can't even tell if you can see it in this video. I hope you can, because she was just going to town. Oh yeah, I will also show you my bump update. Let's go do that now. My stomach looks like I'm smuggling a basketball. It's so funny. Like, I made that comment at work the other day and one of the guys started laughing. I was like, yeah, I look like I'm smuggling sports equipment underneath my shirt because it's so perfectly round. I mean, for the most part. Anyway, that is the 33-week update. I hope you enjoyed. If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe. And you can also follow me for more content on the social medias. I will see you guys in the next video next week. Don't forget, we are going to pack my hospital bag. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.